debate. And as we get started, I will simply just answer questions as I always do. And I want to say hi to the six people who astonishingly still were able to figure it all out: Arnold, Eric, James, Jerome, and Kendall. I see you because I'm really, really impressed that you still knew exactly where to go and how to make it happen. If you give me 1 second to grab my coffee real quick and put your questions in the chat. I'm going to answer your questions you submitted in advance, and also I'm going to record this session as well. So 1 second here. So give me 1 second. We'll get started right now. And good morning, Jeremy and Willie and LaMarcus and everybody else. So my first question I want to ask everybody is, how many of you made money in the stock market? How many of you have really been impressed with the market performance over the last couple of days? I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the stock market has really been taking off the last couple of days. It's actually hit a couple of new highs. And what I'm going to talk about with you guys today is some things that I'm seeing in terms of what's in front of you. Michael Watkins, I see you in Columbus, Ohio, and then maybe some things you can kind of think about as we go into 2022. And I'm gonna have to be honest with you guys today. I'm gonna have a moment of honesty. I am I'm a little confused right now, mentally kind of shaking a little bit. I don't even know if it even makes sense to even talk about any of this in public. But my daughter on New Year's Eve was my daughter Carmen was hit by a drunk driver, and she was in the passenger side of a car, and she was injured very badly. And so I had to rush down here to check on her in the hospital. And I'm only sharing this. I thought about it. You know, I've been thinking about it for a couple of days. I didn't know if it even made sense to even talk about it. I know the guy's name. I looked him up. I Googled him. I Googled his ass, you know, because like any father, I want to go to his house and literally like harm this guy. I really want to hurt this guy. I'm not going to say everything that I'm thinking, but you can imagine. And I didn't know. I was like, God, should I even say anything or not? And I think the reason I'm saying something to you guys about it is because I would be faking it if I just held it in and didn't say anything. You know, like it's like I don't want to sit here and act like everything's okay when it's not, and then have everybody looking at me crazy like, what's wrong with Boyce? Well, if you want to know what's wrong with Boyce, it's that's what's wrong with Boyce today. She got hit. She was the passenger, the only person that didn't get hurt. She's the only person who got hurt. The driver of the car didn't get hurt. The drunk driver didn't get hurt. And and the thing that really kind of pisses me off about it is that you guys know how I feel about things like alcohol and drugs. I've talked to you all about how they promote that nonsense, that bullshit, to our community, and it makes me angry because real people get hurt when these things happen. So she's sitting in the hospital, with some very, very, very severe injuries, and talking about like cracked spine, ripped intestines, just shit like that, all because some asshole decided that he wanted to get drunk and get behind the wheel that night. So if you ever wonder if you ever, how can I say this? I can't even put it into words. I can't even put it into words. It's like, you want to talk about a man who really wants to show up at some guy's house and beat the living shit out of him. That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel. And so there's medical issues, there's legal issues, there's just, make sure she's all right. And it just makes me mad. You guys have heard me, maybe if you've been listening to me, you've heard me talk about drugs and alcohol. I hate drugs and alcohol. I really do. I just do. I just think it's the crazy. It ruins society. I mentioned to you guys that there's studies that show that alcohol is the most dangerous drug in the world. It's more dangerous than crack and heroin and everything. And the reason it's dangerous is because everybody thinks it's safe. It's, the devil doesn't show up as a devil. The devil shows up as an angel, right? And that's how they get you to drop your guard. And so, if you have anybody in your family that is that drinks too much or uses drugs, um, you know, I don't know exactly what to do. I don't know how to stop it, but I would encourage you, or if you're in that category, just understand like real people get hurt when these things happen. She didn't do anything wrong. She was just in the car, and this guy drove across the road and hit her car. And so anyway, so yeah, guys. So I'm gonna still talk to you guys about the stock stuff because I've made a commitment to you to come in and talk to you guys about it like we do every Tuesday at 11. But I'm feeling a little bit down today, so I hope you forgive me for being down. And you're right. And I saw the comment where somebody said, "Don't incriminate yourself." You're right. So if I'll stop talking about the person. I won't say his name. I know the guy's name. I know his name. I know what town he lives in. I know how to use Google, and I have people that work for me. So there you go. That's what it is. All right. So anyway, let's jump into the stock market stuff. Again, I mentioned to you guys. I want to. So anyway, let's jump into. Oh, sorry. I'm going to keep my commitment. So let me pull up. I'm going to pull up some of your questions from last week. And thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate it very much. I see the prayers in the chat. Thank you very much, Kenneth and Betty and Yvonne and Maria and everybody else. I see your comments. Just forgive me for not being myself. I'm not myself because I'm feeling a little bit emotional right now. All right. So in terms of so first of all, just to give you an overview of what's going on in the market, you have a really good stock market right now. I mean, it keeps hitting these record highs. And what's interesting is that, there's a lot of people wondering if that's ever going to stop. It just seems that the market can't go down. The banks are now leading the charge. Yesterday, you had companies like Tesla, that Tesla, delivered more cars than they'd ever delivered before. Apple hit $3 trillion in market cap, which was a very big deal. And basically, what I'm seeing here is that investors this week have been betting the economy could overcome the latest surge in COVID cases. So what's interesting is that right now you have conflicting headlines. You have the one headline that the market's hitting all these record highs, but then on the other hand, you have the headline that you're hitting record numbers of cases of the Omicron variant. Well, generally speaking, the Omicron variant has proven to not be very harmful. And I think that the market is just sort of like, yeah, when it comes to the pandemic and to COVID. I think that people in general are kind of tired of it. I think in fact, I saw something where the new mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, pretty much seemed to be subtly saying, like, we got to move past this if we're ever going to rebuild the city. New York's economic numbers have plummeted through the floor because of the shutdowns. I mean, their tourism is dead. Their hotels are at 50% occupancy, where they're usually hovering around 90%. Companies can't get back to work. People are leaving the city forever. And so now that de Blasio is out of office and you've got Eric Adams in office, you kind of have a guy that seems to be trying to pick up a new energy, almost like taking over after Herbert Hoover in the Great Depression. He's sort of coming in and just saying, this is not the way we operate as New Yorkers. We're more resilient than this. And I liked what he said. I approved that message because I feel like the guy, he, at least on the surface so far, it seems like he's really trying to have some balance in the response to the pandemic. And so there are real economic implications, but generally speaking, around the world, people are sort of looking past it, right? So stock prices are kind of showing that. Let me see here. So as I'm reading here, they said energy and economic recovery stocks were among the early gainers. I'm willing to bet you that some of the cruise operators are doing better. Yep, here we go. They said elsewhere, cruise operators continued their rebound with shares of Carnival and Norwegian rising roughly 2%. Airline stocks were higher as part of the reopening trade. American and United rose about 2%. And these are easy picks. These are easy predictors. When these dropped, when the cruise ships and the airlines dropped a few days ago, I was mentioning to you guys that these are stocks I would definitely pick up. Apple is the kind of company that just It seems to be just solid no matter what. And I was picking up a lot of Apple for 2022 anyway. And the other piece, and I showed you guys last time that if you started buying Apple, just little pieces of Apple stock, every week or every month, for say the last 5 years or more, you'd be very wealthy by now, really wealthy, because I think Apple stock, you could have bought it for $35 in 2017, and now it's at about 182 or 183, probably higher now because the market continues to go up. One of the things that's happening for 2022 is that there is a flight to quality. So companies that tend to be the preference going into this next year are consumer staples, companies that are safe haven stocks with solid balance sheets. What else? Let me see. I actually was thinking about this earlier. Uh, Generally speaking, you're talking about a market, healthcare, and real estate investment trusts. So REITs and healthcare are also two areas that you may want to look into expanding into your portfolio as we move into 2022, because that's what you're looking at. You're looking at a tighter economy where the Fed is not going to be as supportive of the market. You're also looking at a scenario where there could be some slowing growth, where literally, some of these, pandemic issues or whatever supply chain issues really kind of kick in, or company earnings don't continue to grow at the rate that they've been growing, or consumer demand doesn't continue to grow. A big driver of stock prices is consumer demand. Consumers love to spend, spend, spend. So as consumer demand starts, or as the economy shifts, consumer demand may decline over 2022 and beyond, and that's certainly going to have an impact. Now, one thing I want to mention to you guys is that if you log in at the blackstockmarketprogram.com, you can actually find the stocks that I picked for this week. I went and grabbed some that I really like for 2022. I think it's a good time to add them in because the market, I mean, it just looks to me like the market could continue to rebound. The best time to really make that move actually might have been 2 days ago before all these price increases took place. But there are still some companies in there that look like world beaters that have literally upsides from the analysts of 60, 70, 80%. And these could be companies that could do extremely well. Also, Ford Motor Company went up 8% after the company, I guess they got a bunch of orders for their F-150 Lightning electric pickup truck, which is interesting because Tesla dropped 3%, and I wonder if there's some issue going on where the F-150 Lightning truck is competing with Tesla's electric vehicles or not. I know Tesla's selling a lot of assets in China, or a lot of not assets, excuse me. They're selling a lot of trucks and cars in China, and so that was actually the big headline for them early in the week. Let me see here. What else? Here's a quote from Jim Paulson, the group chief investment strategist at Loophole. He says, "Optimism on global economic growth and earnings momentum, reviving since mid-December, continue to grow in the first day of the new year. Those stocks most closely tied to better economic growth did the best Monday, but were joined by new era sectors, including technology and communications." So what he's basically saying is that on Monday, the stocks that went up were the ones that were tied to economic growth. Today, you're seeing technology and communication stocks rising. You got the whole 5G thing kind of happening right now. That's a big deal. So a lot of these things are shifting the economy. So sort of keep that in mind as you prepare. Now, questions. Let's see. William says, "How do I get on the list for the weekly class and Q&A for the Zoom meeting?" Yeah, if you log in at the blackstockmarketprogram.com, the new links are included. I apologize for today. I didn't know that the link had expired at the start of the year, but I put a new link in there, and you're good for the next maybe 6 months or so. So feel free to log in into the blackstockmarketprogram.com, and it's right there at the top. Let's see here. Hey, Doc, what are your thoughts on Crowd? I think you're talking about CrowdStrike. Let me see here. CrowdStrike, from what I recall, I remember CrowdStrike being a solid company. I hadn't had a chance to really look into as many of the stocks this week just because of what's going on with my family. But CrowdStrike has a 6% dip today, and it has an 86. I mean, most analysts think CrowdStrike is a good investment, so I would give CrowdStrike a thumbs up. I think that's a company that if you have extra cash in your portfolio, I don't think you're going to regret buying that stock and holding it for 3 to 5 years. I don't see any reason why CrowdStrike wouldn't be a good investment. So good question. All right, Chris says, what do you think about the new blockchain cryptocurrency called GOPX? Okay, GOPX, supposedly the world's first patent pending blockchain currency. Do you think it's legit? Um, you know what? I don't know about GOPX. I know that in our Black Crypto Club, which meets pretty soon, which is if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can go take a look at that. We have a lot of crypto experts there. I'm really skeptical about any new cryptocurrency just because, everybody's releasing new cryptocurrencies, and I think with crypto, you're already on some interesting ground by jumping heavily into Bitcoin and Ethereum because there's no guarantee that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to last. There's no guarantee. There are experts. There are really smart people, billionaires, really smart billionaires who believe that Bitcoin is going to die, who think Bitcoin is a sucker's investment. Now, I don't agree with that. I think Bitcoin is a good investment. I think Bitcoin could easily pass 100,000 this year. I told you I actually predicted it for 2021. And I believe that could have happened if there weren't so many invasive intrusions in the price movement of Bitcoin, right? If people hadn't dropped so much fear, uncertainty, and doubt on Bitcoin, I believe Bitcoin would have done all those things. But this year, I think Bitcoin could hit 100,000. But remember, that's the bull case. That's the good news case, right? This is under the assumption that there isn't something that's going to come along that's going to disrupt cryptocurrency just as a thing, and it can happen. It's happened before, so you got to be really careful. In China right now, they're showing you a great example of what happens when government officials just kind of lose their mind or make really harsh decisions. They truly don't care. So in China, they wiped away probably $10 trillion in wealth by just literally zapping entire industries, almost like Thanos. If you remember Thanos in the Avengers, how he snapped his fingers and made half the galaxy disappear. Well, the same thing is true when you're talking about government officials. Like they can really disrupt crypto. So even with Bitcoin and Ethereum, the reason I don't have more than 10% of my portfolio in crypto is because crypto could go bad. It could disappear. And so that risk is quadrupled when you're talking about these really speculative brand new cryptos. So I would treat them as like a trip to the casino. Like buying out of the money call options, which again is a long term losing strategy. But sometimes you're feeling frisky and you want to gamble a little bit. I don't blame you. It's totally okay. But just know that a gamble is not the same as an investment. So keep that in mind. All right. So let's see. Terrence is asking, you mentioned the risks of investing in China and Africa. Do you invest in any foreign countries that show better investment opportunities with less risk? Um, well, I like China and Africa, and really a lot of times when I want to get exposure to international markets, you know what I do? I kind of just I when I want to get international exposure, I kind of just go and jump into like some sort of emerging markets ETF, or some sort of mutual fund that focuses on international stocks. I don't really try to, like, I'm not going to go to find somebody who's running a boating operation in Ecuador and go give them, tens of thousands of dollars, of my family's money, hoping that this boating operation in Ecuador takes off. That's very risky. It's highly illiquid. If something goes wrong, you don't have legal recourse to protect you as an investor. If you need to get your money out of the business, you can't get your money out. So a mutual fund is better because they've done all the legwork. They've already decided if the investments are good or bad, and and I can go sell my asset the same day if I want to. So that's a little bit less risky way to get international exposure. So that's just my thought. Let's see. Tara says, "Hello, Dr. Boyce. Is there a class in the Black Business School that teaches all you need to know about life insurance?" I don't think we have anything in particular about insurance. We do have people like Yolanda Spivey who come by and visit and talk about insurance. You know what? Email support@theblackbusinessschool.com. That's support@theblackbusinessschool.com. That's where you can email. We have a great support team. They're really, really good. You can email them about any questions about your logins or your curricula. Also, you can ask them about any particular programs that may be out there or things you may not know. Also, if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can see where we have our crypto club, where we do our book club meeting every Wednesday night, where we're reading Dr. Claude Anderson's books, Black Labor, White Wealth, right now. That's free to the community. And then also the Black Wealth Bootcamp starts Thursday. So if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can find all those things. And the Black Wealth Bootcamp is really popular. There's a money back guarantee. I know you're going to love it. Some of you are already enrolled. And so I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Thursday. All right, so William Lumpkin says, I'm looking to invest in precious metals, particularly silver and copper, because of the applications in industry and technology. How do I analyze ETFs to make a decision? On TD Ameritrade, one ETF ticker was SLV, and I did not see analyst opinions or news. Have you any suggestions on ETF research? Yeah, I would probably look at the I would look at the track record of the asset itself just to get a sense of what the volatility is. And also because you're in class, I can actually research it for you. So if you leave the question in advance, I can look it up. The thing about precious metals is, you don't want to overplay that hand, in my view. I think precious metals are beneficial. The SLV ETF is the iShares Silver Trust. And if you look at that over the last 5 years, you have had some growth, about 40% growth in the last 5 years, but that's not spectacular. There are a lot of stocks that could have given you much better growth, a lot of mutual funds that could have done much better. The last month has done about 4%. So it could be a place to put money in the sense that, sometimes when you're investing, you're not necessarily looking to score touchdowns like football. If you're winning the game, you're not necessarily looking to throw the ball down the field. You're looking to just protect the ball, right? So you slow down the offense and you just sort of do some defensive kind of strategies, right? So I would see precious metals as a defensive kind of play. Remember, gold is not what it's chalked up to be. Everybody loves gold. Everybody thinks gold is great. Gold is not a way to get rich. Gold, buying a bunch of gold is usually not going to make you rich. Now, what gold will do though is it protects you against the downside. It protects you in case there's a calamity. If there's a war, the price of gold will probably shoot up. Price of oil, things like that. In fact, I was reading today about how all these billionaires are buying these bunkers, or they're paying for these like luxury bunkers that are like 20 stories below the ground, that have like indoor cinemas and swimming pools and all the stuff that rich people like. So in a way it's kind of like gold is kind of a rich man's investment to some extent, because you can actually protect your assets much more efficiently that way. One type of investment that I mentioned to you guys not too long ago that I think really is a sucker's investment is diamonds. I don't think diamonds are a good way to a good place to put your money. A lot of people think that, look, if I go and I do what rappers do and I go buy me a bunch of a bunch of diamond necklaces or whatever, that's gonna actually maintain its value and all this other stuff. That's just not true. Diamonds used to be really rare, and then the De Beers company started. They started basically flooding the market by literally buying up all these diamond mines and producing tons of diamonds. And the only reason they were able to keep the price up was because De Beers, because they control so many of the mines, they were able to manipulate the price by managing the supply of the diamonds that were out in the market at any given time. But generally speaking, diamonds are just not a good investment. They are the result of an excellent ad campaign that De Beers started in the 1950s and 60s, where they said diamonds are forever, diamonds are a girl's best friend, all this other stuff. So now people believe diamonds have value that they truly just don't have. And also, remember, it's illiquid. So if I buy a diamond necklace and I think, oh yeah, I can just sell this if things ever get tough financially. Yeah, you can sell it, but you're gonna sell it. Maybe you bought it for 20 grand, you're gonna sell it for 3. Right? Whatever. You're gonna go to a local pawn shop or something, but that's about it. You're not gonna actually be able to sell it in a way that's gonna actually lead to the price appreciation that you're looking for. So I would encourage you to not really buy into the hype when it comes to things like diamonds. Gold doesn't excite me. I think gold is good in terms of adding it to the portfolio. I think of gold the way you think about like when you go eat and they put the parsley on your plate to make it look better. Maybe gold is like the parsley on the plate. Like, okay, sure, let's add this on here. It's a nice little trinket, nice little add-on, but that's not the main course. The main course would be the assets that you really think are going to really control the future, the industries that you think are really going to just kick ass and take names, the metaverse ETFs, metaverse companies, that are going to really be a part of the future in that area, electric vehicles, space exploration. That's another emerging industry that maybe you want to get on the bottom floor of. So the one thing about investing that's really important that I want you to keep in mind is to make sure you don't ever get caught up in this sort of like like idea that one great investment is just going to change everything, or there's one stock that's just going to make the difference. No, it's not one stock, it's all the stocks kind of put together. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so let me keep going. Yeah, so as far as looking for uh, you know a silver ETF, it does help if there are analyst reviews on the ETF. And you're right. The iShares Silver Trust doesn't have a lot of information. Um, Let me see. I'm looking to see if there's anything here in terms of silver ETFs. I would have looked up more. I just had to go deal with the stuff with my daughter, so I wasn't able to do as much pre-research for you guys as I normally would. But if you put the question in for next week for class, I will dig into it a little bit more, and maybe I can find you some suggestions on things you may want to invest in that sector. All right, so let's keep going. And I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to end a little bit early just because you're right. I am a little bit upset about my daughter's accident. So I'd like to kind of just go and relax a little bit because my body's feeling a little bit of the stress. So I apologize for not being myself. All right. So Nicole McGriff, confused. Can you explain what happened with iFresh within this year? The stock went all the way down, then came up within weeks. Would you invest iFresh? Let's see here. Let me look up iFresh. So iFresh. Um, let's see. If it's not on Robinhood, then I won't be able to look it up. And it doesn't look like it's a Robinhood stock. So yeah, I put the question in next week, Nicole, because I don't know much about this iFresh company. Let me see here. iFresh stock. Okay. Okay, it looks like it's a penny stock, which right there, that's a warning sign. And the market cap is only 800. No way, no way. This it says the market cap is $815,000. So you're really playing with fire with companies like that. Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'll share my screen with you guys so you can kind of see what I'm looking at here. If you're inside the Zoom, you can see it. If not, I'll just describe it to you. But literally, it's a stock that looks like it had just something terrible happened. It was trading over $1, then it just plummeted down to literally almost nothing. So when I look at this, what I'm seeing is probably a company that is on its deathbed. It's probably maybe the company's bankrupt. Would I invest in this company? Not unless I was feeling really lucky and wanted to just throw a little bit of money away. When you look at a company that's got a market cap of less than $1 million, you're really talking about just a crappy little tiny little garbage business. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. If you put money in it, then make sure it's the money that you're prepared to lose because it doesn't look like a good investment, Nicole. So I don't know exactly what happened there, but it sounds to me like they probably defaulted on some debt or something like that, or something happened that's really bad, like going to the hospital and you get a flat line or something. Like something's not good with this company. All right, so let's see here. Eric says, what do you think about ETFMG cybersecurity ticker hack? Okay, cybersecurity ticker hack. Okay, I'm gonna look up the ticker symbol hack, and if I don't see it in Robinhood, I'll have to get to it next week. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's see. First impression with hack. Okay, it looks like hack took a dip today. It's gone up 1% in the past month, 3% this year, 124% in the past 5 years. What does hack do? Hack is a company, or it's not called hack. It's called ETFMG Prime Cybersecurity ETF. It tracks a tiered equal weighted index. Oh, it's an ETF. Duh. What am I? Sorry. Let's see. It's an equal weighted index that tracks cybersecurity technology and services. Um, let's see here. It's 93% technology, 6% industrials. Uh, hmm. There's nothing about this company that really tells me that it will be a great investment. But if you look over the last 5 years, it's done a lot of climbing. It would have been a great investment if you started putting money into it 5 years ago. Let me see what else would I look at for this company here. Maybe you could read the prospectus and the reports and kind of get an idea of what you think of the company and whether or not you want to be in that business. And so I would look at it from an industry standpoint, and I would sort of say to myself, is this an industry and is this a business that I'd want to be invested in. Do I think that this industry is going to grow? Is this one of the industries that's on the tip of everybody's tongue in terms of what the future will hold? And I do agree with you, Omari. A lot of tech is overvalued, particularly what they call long duration assets. Long duration stocks are companies that aren't really making a lot of money now, but they're expected to make all this ton of money in the future. Well, those companies are going to go through some real rough challenges before they actually get there. They're going to go through some major corrections, major crashes. So maybe if you're thinking about those long duration, high risk assets, high volatility assets, maybe you wait until there's a downturn. Maybe you wait until there's a market correction. Wait until the next crisis. There's always a crisis around the corner. There's always, something that's going to freak everybody out. And I love those situations. I love it because when everybody when it rains, everybody abandons their car. Right, it becomes like Grand Theft Auto. I can go get inside somebody's Porsche and drive away. Meaning that when things get tough, people sell their assets for an abundantly cheap price. One of the most consistent aspects of stock market investing is investor overreaction to the upside and to the downside. A smart investor knows how to make money in all those scenarios. Whether you're talking about the Great Depression, that was a great opportunity for people to make money if they had discipline, a little bit of capital, a little bit of patience. But also now, when everything's frothy and overinflated, there's opportunities to make money two ways. One, some of these stocks are going to crash. So maybe, selling options on these companies, things like that. That's the way some people are making money. Also, there are bull markets somewhere. There's always some segment of the market that was neglected because maybe money was flowing in one direction. Everybody's paying attention to that side of the room. So the assets that are on this side of the room maybe weren't paid attention to. So there's some good investments that way. Some of the stocks that I picked for you guys this week, if you log in at the blackstockmarketprogram.com, you can find them under what Dr. Boyce is buying. Some of those companies are basically companies that are in that category. Companies that have really good ratios and look, primed up for explosive growth, mainly because everybody's paying attention to the Apples and the Microsofts, and they're ignoring these companies. Okay, so let me see. Next question. Brown says, "What happens to your stocks when you do not complete a limit market order type?" When you don't complete the order. Well, if you don't complete the order, it's not a confirmation, then the order doesn't go through. Let's see. All my stocks I have not completed a limit market order type. Okay, so you got limit orders and market orders. You have to pick one, and so they're usually going to prompt you on what kind of order you want. If you didn't pick one, the order probably didn't go through. I don't know, how the order could have gone through. So I would kind of maybe go back and look at the orders that you placed, and if they did go through, they'll probably tell you, what kind of order it was. But I wouldn't freak out about it. I wouldn't panic about it. All right, so let's see here. The next question. Oh, you're asking about the ETF hack. Okay, thanks, Eric. Alice, good morning, Doc. Could you suggest stocks that we should buy that are artificial intelligence and EV stocks, Metaverse ETF? Oh, I like the Metaverse ETF. The ticker symbol is Meta, META. But there are going to be other Metaverse ETFs in the future. If you log in, the blackstockmarketprogram.com, you will find under what Dr. Boyce is buying, there's about 5 or 6 stocks I grabbed in some ETFs and mutual funds as well in previous weeks that I really like in terms of being able to take advantage of what appears to be long-term growth in certain industries. So, and if your money's tight or you don't have as much money as you want, maybe what you can do is set an auto buy on your app where maybe every week, you buy $10 worth, $20 worth, whatever you can afford of a certain asset to keep adding it up. Like let me just tell you, you can't underestimate the significance of that. If you'd done that with Apple, say starting back in 2015, you would have an insane amount of money because Apple's been growing consistently over time, and I would encourage you to kind of realize that there's another Apple out there that hasn't grown yet, that's still tiny, isn't really getting a lot of attention, and so the same way you look back and you say, "Gosh, it's 2021. I wish it was 2017." Well, in 2027 you're going to be saying, "God, I wish it was 2021. Then I would have known about this company that went up from $30 a share to $200 a share." Right. So get in early. You can do this. What happened to your daughter? She was in a car accident. She got hit by a drunk driver. She's in the hospital. And with very, very severe injuries. So that's the story. My daughter Carmen, and so that's why I'm not myself today. So I'm gonna go, guys. I hope that's okay. I hope you can forgive me for leaving a little bit early. I just kind of need to lay down. I thought I would be able to just kind of get through class because literally the Tuesday class is my favorite time of the week. This is literally I don't know. It's between this and the book club. This and the book club, and but right now I just feel like I just got to go lay down. So I hope y'all forgive me for that. And the only reason I'm mentioning this is not just to be honest, so that you guys don't think there's something wrong, or wonder like, well, why the hell is he talking funny? But also it's because I really just want to encourage you to be really diligent about drunk driving and all that stuff. I mean, come on, man. Like, like all this promotion, the way they promote drugs and alcohol to to especially to our people. They put it in the music and they act like it's not a big deal. Like people really get hurt from this stuff. And I really encourage you to be aggressive about dealing with that. If you know somebody, you see somebody that's taking this stuff lightly, get in their shit about it. Excuse my French. You got to get on them. Like, no, you don't do that. Like, I think we have to be damn near militant about sort of letting people know, like, this is not cool. Promotion of drugs is not cool because, when parents get hooked on crack, they abandon their children. That's not cool. Drunk drivers get in cars and kill people. That's not cool. So anyway, guys, thank you for listening, and thank you for forgive me. I see your prayers in the chat and everything, and I appreciate that very, very much. And again, I'm to those of you that are in the class, I'm very sorry about the link issue. It's in there now, so you just log in, and you can get the link for the next class. So I'll see you guys soon, and have a good day, and God bless everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.